Yeah. All right. I guess we're live now. Hopefully there's no doesn't, my voice doesn't really show up there, but whatever. Hi guys. Hi everybody. My name is Francisco Hernandez. I'm a portrait photographer based in South Texas. I specialize in off-camera flash, which I'm pretty sure maybe some of you guys are familiar with my work. But for the last couple, month and a half, 2 months, I've been trying to learn a couple of new things, and some things that I discovered I wanted to share with you guys. So yeah, thanks for you guys for making it out to this thing. It's was it Tuesday? So I know I can understand if there's harder for people to make it out because it's usually not the weekend. But yeah, thanks to Adorama as well for allowing me to do this talk with you guys and share a little bit of the knowledge. So yeah, thanks to them for that. I wanted to be a little bit engaging with this whole thing. So the first thing I wanted to ask you guys is how many of you guys are off-camera flash shooters? They use primarily, you guys use, okay. And how many of you guys typically use natural light? Okay, so half-ish. So how many of you guys have shot with natural light before in the studio? No, one person? Oh, you, okay. Yeah, you're the only one here. And I'm gonna guess that a lot of you guys have shot indoors with off-camera flash. Okay, so yeah. The reason why I'm asking is because, well, the whole thing that we're gonna be learning today is how to get natural, soft-looking light indoors. So that's, you're gonna learn a little bit about that today. I also wanted to ask that because typically, and I guess, it's good that you guys didn't answer that you shot with natural light in studio, because typically when people shoot indoors with with just natural light, it's not as intimidating as if you were to use off-camera flash. So off-camera flash is something that usually people go to when it comes to indoor lighting, I guess. But yeah, natural light is definitely not as challenging, so that's why people tend to use natural light. Well, I guess for the people that have tried to get natural looking light indoors, what kind of issues have you run into? And if you guys haven't tried that before, if you were to just imagine that you did try it, what are some of the things that you think would be an issue, or at least a challenge, in trying to replicate natural light indoors? Nobody?
Probably simply to try to make it look natural.
To make it look natural. And what is a characteristic of natural light to you? Soft? Okay. Is there any other characteristics that come to mind? Even? Even. Okay. I guess that's a good description of it. The reason why I'm asking is because, like I mentioned before, off-camera flash in general can be very intimidating. So people tend to, if they shoot natural light indoors, they typically don't try to get that natural looking light with off-camera flash. If you guys are familiar with the photographer Sue Bryce, anybody out there? No? She's a really great portrait photographer who's been shooting for I think 27 years now, maybe. And only in the recent, maybe 2 or 3 years, she started to incorporate off-camera flash, and she learned that she really enjoyed it. So that was really cool that she's able to replicate natural-looking light indoors. And that's actually where I got some of my tips from. So yeah, some of the things that I think that are very intimidating when you try to incorporate off-camera flash and make it look natural, especially indoors, is the fact that you're gonna be working in a small space. The space that we're working in is not too small, but it's not like a big hallway or anything. So I've actually tried to shoot indoors in very small spaces, probably half the space of this. I used to live in a small apartment for many years, and I used to try to get natural looking light indoors just because I wanted to tackle that. I wanted to do everything when it just started. I think a lot of us kind of want to do that. But it was definitely a challenge because of the small space that I was working in. Another challenge that I think is pretty common with photographers is that you didn't know where to put the light to mimic natural soft-looking light, and you don't know how to modify it as well. And also because of that small space, you don't know how to control it as good as if you're using natural light. So yeah, those are some of the issues that I think are very common when trying to replicate natural-looking light indoors. And I did mention this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to ask the whole audience. I'm going to be asking you guys a couple questions every now and then. what are some characteristics that you think are that natural light is? Like specifically natural light indoors, what are some characteristics of the shot that you think makes it seem like a natural light shot? So that's my question to you guys. Anybody want to answer? No? Okay. Yeah. Hard light and deep shadows for indoors with natural light? You typically like, well actually you're right, but if you don't have any sort of diffusion, like if it's not an overcast day, then I can see where you're right in that. And that's actually a look that some people do aim for, like kind of high fashion. But the answer I was kind of looking for was soft light and also a big source of light and also one single light. Because we're working with the sun here. This is not Star Wars. It's not Tatooine. There's not two suns here. We're working with one source of light. And it's also a big diffused source of light. So when it comes to off-camera flash, you know, it's kind of, the fact that we got those characteristics down means that we can start working our way into figuring out how to mimic that natural soft-looking light. So I have a couple of things here that is going to be helpful in that. But I did want to quickly point out that the very key thing to getting natural soft-looking light indoors is getting a very diffused light. So diffusion is going to be the key to this whole thing. So I'm going to start by getting these couple of things and showing you guys how to build up into getting that natural soft-looking light. But the first thing that I want to do is show you guys what not to do. And when I learned photography in the beginning, I would see a lot of, well, specifically with off-camera flash, I would see a lot of behind-the-scenes or educational content, and maybe some of them would show like a shot that didn't look good before they show you the shot that looks really good. But I'm going to do a step further and show you guys a couple of shots that don't look good before I show you how to correct that and to get the nice, soft, even light. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a shot of the model here, Sydney, but I'm going to take it without any sort of diffusion. Let's see, it's going to sleep. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot of Sydney without any sort of diffusion at all. And if you guys are familiar with off-camera flash, those of you who are familiar with it, I'm pretty sure you guys can guess what's going to happen. But anybody want to take a guess what's going to happen? Okay, you. It
might be a bit overexposed and very harsh.
Okay, yeah, it might be overexposed depending on how the power is, if I didn't get it right. I don't use a light meter. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say deep harsh shadows.
Deep harsh shadows, okay. Yeah, if you guys want to make some bets amongst yourself of exactly how hard, or even the power level, it's at 1/8 right now, but I'm going to adjust it. You could do that. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot of Sydney here. It's at 1/8 plus 2/3, so I'm going to go ahead and think maybe 1/32 would be good. I don't use a light meter at the moment, just because when I started, light meters with high-speed sync wasn't a thing. I think that only came out the last 2 years or so, and they're like around $600. And especially in the very beginning, when people are starting to incorporate off-camera flash, that kind of investment in something that's not like a lens or camera or off-camera flash, it's kind of just a bit of a reach. So I'm not going to use a light meter today, but if you guys do use those, then yeah, go ahead and do that, because then it's going to cut down the guesswork. It'll cut the guesswork out. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot now. Oh, yeah. Yep. Guys, I'm using the Explore Pro TTL. I know that some of you guys are very interested in this light, and it's a great light. I've had it for about 2 days now, but I'm going to be doing a review on this soon, so you guys can expect that soon. Yeah, it's the newest one, a whole bunch of improved features on it. It has very fast recycle time, 0.9 at full, but I'm going to be using it at less than that, so it's going to be a lot faster. So yeah, that's the light right there. Okay. All right, and I'm using actually the Sony R2 Pro. This thing's not out yet either, but if you guys follow my Facebook page, Learn to Light, then you guys can check out all the announcements that I do there. That's where I usually post them first. Also on Instagram, FJH Photo. Okay, let me just go ahead and just adjust the light here. It's very simple, 32. I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot, and you guys are gonna see how it looks like. Okay. Okay. That's how it looks like so far. It is a little bit overexposed, but maybe like, I don't know, 1/3 or 2/3 of a stop. So I'm going to just reduce it a little bit first so that you guys can see how it looks. Yeah, it's a little harsh right now, but it's going to get better. I'm working my way up to something, just Trust me on that. Okay, take another shot. Sony's eye autofocus is going to do the job for me. All right. Okay, I think it's about even now. It's a good exposure at the moment. But again, it's very harsh. So that's something that we really want to avoid. You don't want to aim. This is not the look that you're going to be aiming for natural, soft-looking light indoors. So the very first step that I'm going to do is add a little bit of diffusion. That's going to soften the light. It's going to make it more flattering. And I have a couple of things here that's going to aim for the diffusion. And like I said before, diffusion is the key to getting natural, soft-looking light indoors. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this umbrella here. It's about 40 inches. It's a shoot-through umbrella. I wanted to use the shoot-through umbrella as opposed to like a reflective umbrella on purpose because reflective umbrellas typically are more controlled, and the sun is, if it's flooding your whole room, it's typically not as controlled as you want it to be. So I wanted to use the diffusion for that. So I have this shoot-through umbrella here. I also have a diffusion panel here. It's 48 by 72 inches. It's really great for outdoor natural light photography or indoors where you're trying to replicate natural light indoors. I also have the 30-inch glow parapop here on the bottom, and that's actually one of my favorite modifiers to go to, specifically for on-location portraits, because it's soft light and it's very portable. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one. She's gonna drink some water, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with this umbrella and show you guys how that looks like compared to the shot that we just took right now with no diffusion at all. And if you guys are familiar with off-camera flash, you would know that when you start to add diffusion, the light gets less intense, so that means we're going to have to increase the power of the light. Right now it's a 1/64th plus a third of a stop, so I'm going to just probably increase it by like a stop, maybe just round it out to 1/32nd, and see how that looks like from there. And if it's a little bit underexposed, then I'll just correct it. How you guys doing? All right. And since I'm taking kind of like a headshot sort of crop, I can extend it a little bit further to like this level. But if you're taking like a wider shot, then of course you're going to bring it a little bit in. Okay, so now I'm going to take another shot, and you guys are going to see exactly how it's going to transition from the harder light to the softer light. All right. Okay, so it's pretty good. I didn't even adjust the exposure. Let me see. Yeah, I could probably increase it about a third of a stop, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And take another shot. Cheese. Okay, I'm laughing to myself because usually when I take pictures of my niece and my nephew, I say 1, 2, 3, and I say cheese, and then they take the picture. But I don't have to do that because she's a professional model here. Okay. All right. So it looks great to me. So I just want you to keep in mind that I did have to increase the power just a little bit because of the diffusion, and I really want to drive that home because as I start to build up the diffusion, I'm going to be increasing the power little by little. Every now and then I do get questions about why I did certain things, so I try to keep that in mind and try to explain everything that I'm doing. But if you guys have any questions about anything that I've done so far or anything that I'm going to do, just don't be afraid. Go ahead and be like, hey, I have a question. What did you do? Why did you do this? So don't be afraid to ask any questions that you might have. So now what I'm going to do, yeah.
Can you explain the effect of
the ambience? Oh yeah, correct. If I really wanted to cut them down, you know what? Can you actually?
You can just. Are you trying to?
Like how this is affecting the shot?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you have no other lights on, so what I would do is take the trigger off, take a shot, and show that it doesn't affect.
Okay, I'm gonna just turn it off.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
turn the light off.
Okay, so we're gonna see how the shot looks like without any sort of like off-camera flash. It's a good question. Okay. All right. 1, 2, and 3. So this is how the shot looks like without any off-camera flash. It's pretty dark, but if you want, yeah, if you really wanted to eliminate the light completely, then I could just increase, darken the exposure a little bit. Right now we're at 160th of a second, f3.2 at ISO 100. So I guess, yeah, I'm going to darken the exposure just a little bit so you can see nothing but what the off-camera flash is doing. So I don't want any sort of ambient at all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go from f3.2 to maybe 1/200th and also maybe f4. Maybe f5.6. No, f5. It's a good number there. I'm going to take another shot so you can see exactly how the shot's gonna look like. I'm hoping for just nothing but black. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. You know, I can actually see the exposure live with Sony. So I guess that's a little darker, but I'm gonna go for really dark. So I'm gonna go to f 6.3. So yeah, she's gonna do that because we're not gonna see her anyway, but I'm gonna take another shot. Yeah, it's looking like pretty dark with the exposure. Sony's live, EFV and all that stuff. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So now we pretty much have a good exposure that looks dark. If it looks dark to you guys, then that's good. It looks pretty dark to me. You can see like just the smallest hint, but we're good right now. So I'm gonna go ahead, and now I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go ahead and take another shot with the umbrella, so I can really show you guys exactly what the umbrella is doing, and not any sort of effect from the ambient light, which is these lights here. So I'm gonna turn on the transmitter, put it to maybe 1/8. Yeah, that's a good number. Take another shot. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it was a good guess. So now that's the exposure that you guys are seeing right now with no effect of the ambient. So now what I'm gonna do after I take this shot, which I just did right now, I'm gonna go ahead and get the glow parapop, which has 2 diffusion panels, and that's gonna be key in getting softer, more flattering light that looks like natural light. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is a standard shoot-through umbrella that Glow sells, but pretty much shoot-through umbrellas are fairly cheap. This is like one of the things I highly recommend when you're starting off-camera flash, because for one, it's cheap and it's a good size. A thing that's very key to soft light is having a big light source, and this is going to be able to do that. This is probably like, I'm not going to look it up, but it's like maybe like $15 to $20. It's not that bad, and it's a good size. And you can also use it if it's actually raining. So, yeah, it was actually snowing over here the other day. So now I'm gonna get the Glow Parapop, which has 2 diffusion panels. Okay, I think I might have to move it up, take off the reflector first. But yeah, if this was like a Profoto umbrella, it'd probably be like triple the price and no difference at all. It's a little joke there. Okay. Let's see. Okay. But if you shoot Profoto, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good brand. Okay. All right, now I'm going to just add that Glow Parapop, take another shot. And if you guys can guess, it's going to be very soft. But going from 1 diffusion with the shoot-through umbrella at 1/8, I'm just going to guess that it's going to cut down the light just maybe 1 stop. So I'm going to go to 1/4 and see how that looks like. All right. Okay, and I think I'm just gonna angle it down just a little bit. I should have took that off. Computer keeps going to sleep. Sorry, guys. How do I do that? I'll just move the mouse a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Are any of you guys familiar with Rembrandt, the photographer? Not the photographer. The painter. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you are. See, she's familiar with it. You guys are not raising your hand. Don't fall asleep. But yeah, pretty much Rembrandt is my favorite lighting of all time. I haven't studied the paintings. I do want to do that one day. But I just love the look of Rembrandt. So I'm going to just go ahead and angle it a little bit up and down to get a little bit of the Rembrandt kind of look. Might not be exactly accurate, but I'll move if I need to. If you guys have the original Explorer 600, you would probably be hearing some noise right now. The new one has a way better handle. So yeah, it's not an ad. Okay. Okay. And she's actually closing her eyes. What I found out with models is that usually they'll do something that you're not even expecting. Like there's a little bit of downtime during the photo shoot, and then they're doing something, have a nice pose, and it just looks really nice. So keep that in mind. Just a little pro tip for on-location photography, that the model will probably surprise you with some natural poses. All right. So I like that when you're looking down to the side a little bit. Yeah. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's not exactly natural light, or natural light. It's not exactly Rembrandt because she's She turned her head a little bit, and usually it's like facing off a little bit to the side, not as much, in other words. But yeah, right now we're at 1/8 still. Shot looks like it needs just a little bit of increase in exposure. But now we're working with 2 diffusion panels, as opposed to the one with the umbrella. So I don't know if I can just go ahead and just see the last couple of shots.
Yeah.
Just scroll or.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. Okay, right there. That was the shot that I believe with the umbrella, and this is the shot. Yeah, that's the shot with the umbrella, and the next shot is the one that's lower. It's the one with the octabox, and it's just a little bit softer. It's noticeable. Yeah, it's just those 2 shots. Okay, cool. So now you're seeing that she's, well, maybe if she was looking the same direction, but yeah, but it's fine. The thing that you're seeing here, that might not be noticeable to the naked eye, but if you really start to break down light and you start to look for like every subtle difference, you're gonna see that there's a noticeable difference in terms of diffusion and softness of the light. So yeah, so those are the 2 shots side by side. One, the left side is with the umbrella, right side is with the globe hair pop, the octabox, the 30-inch. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and build up to where I eventually want you guys to see how to create very nice, natural-looking soft light indoors. Because right now what you're seeing, I don't know about you guys, but to me it looks nice, but it still looks strobed. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple things that is gonna work towards getting natural, soft-looking light. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by taking off the 30-inch globe hair pop. And I guess for now, I'll just tear it down. Super easy to do so. Okay. And the next thing I'm gonna do, which might be surprising to some of you, but there's a reason for it. So let me show you guys. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna just move the light, and I'm gonna put it against this wall here. Okay. Right here, I'm gonna add the reflector, and then I'm gonna take a shot. Okay, so you might be wondering why exactly I'm doing this, but I'm gonna take a shot and then explain. So you guys can see, maybe, you know what, actually I forgot to do, I'm gonna take a shot of her directly, not bounce, because that's what's doing right now. It's gonna be bouncing off this white V-flat and then bouncing off to her. So I'm gonna take a shot of her, probably like right there.
Did you mention the size of that power pop?
Yeah, it was a 30-inch globe hair pop. In case anybody is wondering, 2 diffusion panels on it. The shoot through was about 40 inches. And right now, what we're shooting with this reflector that comes with the Pro Explorer, it's about 5 inches. But the main thing I want to point out is that it's a small light source. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the power output, because if any of you guys are familiar with the inverse square law, since I moved it from over here to over here, I'm going to have to increase the power because there's this distance here. So I'm going to go ahead and go from 1/8 to maybe like, well, actually, you know what? That was 1/8 with the diffusion. So I'll just take a shot with 1/8 here, see how that looks like, and then adjust. So take another shot. This time, look at me. All right, thank you. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it's not flattering. That's the shot there so far.
Oh! Take that down now.
I'll take another shot in a second. But that's 1/8, and I'm gonna go from 1/8 to, looks like maybe 1/4 plus 1/3 of a stop. I'll just go from there, see how that looks like. But it'll be better exposed right now. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, so this is like a passport photo. That's a typical passport photo shot, but we don't want that. We want softer, natural-looking light. But if you guys are needing passports soon, this is the setup right here. You can take a picture if you want. Okay, so it looks pretty exposed to me. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go from this direct, harsh light source, and I'm gonna increase the size of it. And the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna bounce it off of this V-flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Right there. Okay. So I'm gonna take a shot and see how that looks like and show you guys what comes out. Take another shot. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so basically what happened right now, like if we had a different sort of background, then we could kind of see exactly how like the textures and like maybe a brick wall would be different. But right now we have a white background. It's totally fine because I'm gonna do a couple things in a little bit that'll make it look really interesting. But yeah, that's the shot how it is right now. Since I bounced it, the light source became a bigger source of light. So instead of being a small 5-inch reflector going in this direction at her directly, it bounced off of here and became a bigger light source, but it also kind of bounced and just went general direction. So basically what I'm trying to recreate here is kind of like the sun. This is like the sun inside without any sort of diffusion, no clouds, no curtain. So this is the sun, but I do need to increase the power just a little bit. So it looks like I'm gonna go for like 1/4 to maybe 1/2. So I'm gonna go ahead and take another shot. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, so it looks pretty good to me. Maybe just a little bit more. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask me some of those questions because I don't want you guys to get lost. Yeah.
Does the distance between the light and the wall matter?
Yeah, actually, if like this wall, like the reason why I had it this close.
Repeat the question for last year.
Oh yeah, can you? The question was, does the distance between the light and the wall matter? I guess, and it actually does. The reason why I have it really close, which is like about, I think maybe like 2 feet, is because I kind of want to recreate like a small space to work in. This is not the smallest space, but it is pretty small. If the V flat was kind of further out there, then yeah, you're gonna have to like either need more power, either need more power or just get the V flat closer. So I have it about 2 feet. I could bring it like a little closer, but I had it just to space because it's a good space to work in. But yeah, so I'm gonna increase the power just a little bit. 1/2 plus 1/3 of a stop. Take another shot. All right, 1, 2, you can look at me. Okay, and that looks pretty good to me. So basically what we're creating here is, again, we're creating like sun, direct sun. And direct is not always the best thing there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna diffuse the light just a little bit. I'm gonna get this, this umbrella here, and I'm gonna put it on there. But I think I actually will have to move the light just like slightly further back. So maybe I'll take a shot with the umbrella off at the same distance. But yeah, again, this is the 40-inch glow shoot-through umbrella. I could have left it where it was, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right. All right, so I'm going to take another shot, and then I'm going to ask you guys another question. Okay. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right, so the light should look a little bit softer. It might not be that noticeable because the shot is still kind of not as soft as we want it to be yet. But the thing that I wanted to point out here is the direction. So typically if you're shooting with natural light indoors, or if you've ever been to like a studio that shoots with natural light or seen one online, then typically the light will be in a more flattering position. It won't be like as direct. Maybe it'll be diffused a little bit more, or it'll be like a higher window or something else. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just adjust the angle a little bit. So I'm gonna just, boom, right there. Okay. I think I can heighten it just a little bit more. Right there. So basically what I'm gonna try to recreate here is a higher window. That should be a little bit more flattering because I don't want to get like a direct light source. Nobody ever wants, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like direct flash. So word to people who, some advice to people who don't shoot with flash, direct's not the way to go. Okay. All right. Unless it's like high fashion or something. All right, she's gonna cover her mouth. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Well, actually, I'm gonna take another shot because I think I want to do like a portrait orientation. You can do what you're doing. Okay. Looks pretty cool.
No, it's fine.
All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it looks good to me.
Oh my God, I messed up my hand.
Okay, so the very next step I'm going to do, because this is still not where we're aiming for, it just has a bit better angle, but I still don't want it to be looking like this. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add a layer of diffusion, and that's going to be pretty much the last step. And like I said before, I really want to drive this home. Diffusion is very key. It's something that you really want to aim for. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But before I do that, I actually wanted to address something. If you were to use a speed light, you can definitely recreate some sort of look that's very similar. But the things with strobes, unless you're using like something like the Profoto, which I believe can zoom differently, when you're using speed lights, you have the ability to change the zoom. What I would recommend is maybe putting it not too narrow. You want to aim for like something wider because it's going to be more flattering and it's going to diffuse, the light's going to be better diffused inside like modifiers like octoboxes or something like this shoot-through umbrella. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this layer of diffusion, which is over here. This is the, I believe this is the Westcott 48-inch by 72-inch diffuser. So it's a good diffuser. Okay. It's as tall as me, I think. Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, if you guys have any questions at all about anything, I'm using the A7R III with the R2 Pro. The lights I've been using are the Flashpoint Explorer Pro TTL with the, I believe this is like a Matthews C-stand? Yeah, it's like a miniature one, but it was perfect for what I needed it to do. And then this is another Matthews C-stand. All right. I got it, I think. Okay. So basically what this setup is so far is basically the sun. I think I mentioned that a second ago, or the clamp, right? Yeah. The thing that I mentioned right now is that this is basically my artificial sunlight at this point. And what this is basically going to be my clouds on an overcast day or my curtains inside the studio. It's going to be that last piece of diffusion that's going to really make this photo into a more natural looking soft light. So I'm going to go ahead and be in front of it. Of course, unless you had like a hole in it, then you can be behind it a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and maybe move it just a little bit further, like right here. And take another shot. And this should be like something that's really, really soft. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to bring it as close as I can to me because the distance between the diffuser here and the model is going to be a crucial part. So I'm going to go ahead and move it just like maybe like a foot closer so that my back is just against it, right up against it, and take another shot. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it looks very soft and natural, but I'm going to go ahead and just increase the power output. It's at 1/2 plus 30 right now, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it to full. Okay. One more time. I'm going to go from landscape orientation to portrait. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, maybe just smile. I like your smile. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, so what we have right now is pretty much a very soft, natural-looking shot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change the angle a little bit because I want it to look a little bit more flattering in terms of the direction of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just have her turn a little bit to the side here. And I'm going to follow the same angle and then take another shot so you guys can see how that looks like. Okay. And right now this is about 600 watts. So I guess something that is really important is to have like a good strobe. But if you're working in a smaller space, more than likely you won't need as much power as this. This is 600 watts. But yeah, so just keep in mind the power. If you're using a speed light and you had a smaller space to work in, then you might be able to do something similar. But you just want to keep in mind that there's a difference in power with speed lights and strobes. Okay. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and was it? I was gonna add a couple of flags, but I think I might need a little help. So I'm gonna ask if anybody out there who's not too shy, if you could, you, okay? And then I need one more person to hold some, you look like you're ready to get, you can do it.
I've got a question.
Yeah, okay, your question.
How does the diffuser's location affect like how the light bounces off?
Okay, so the one thing that I mentioned earlier is that when you have a big source of light, if you have a big source of light, when you have it really close to the subject, that's where you start to really see like a nice, soft looking light. If you have a smaller light source further away, it's like the exact opposite and it's getting harsh. So if I were to bring this further and further, let's say for example, this Explorer Pro was like capable of like a lot more power, and then I had it further and further away, and I wanted to move this the same distance away. This whole sun, I guess, if you were to move it further and further away, then it starts to become more intense and more harsh. So I have it at this close proximity because I want it to look softer and softer. If I had like the ability to cut a hole in it and then take a picture through that, then I would probably get it really close, just like outside the frame of the shot. Because typically whenever I take a photo with off-camera flash or natural light, I just want it to be very soft. So with the diffuser, if the sun was coming from like this other direction, I'd get it just outside the frame of the shot so that the light looks the absolute softest. And sometimes what I've seen people say with my photos is that it looks a little too soft, like unrealistic, that they think that I'm doing some sort of editing tricks, but it's not. It's just soft light. And I'm a fan of soft light, so that's why I use it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take another shot at this different angle. But again, the reason why I'm gonna be adding these flags here, if you guys aren't familiar with flags, it's basically the opposite of a reflector. It's negative fill. So it's gonna be subtracting some of the light. And the reason why you wanna be doing this is because you want more control of the light that you're gonna be working with. So let's say, for example, there was a hot pink wall here. You're shooting next to or probably in your daughter's bedroom, and you're practicing photos on her. Like a lot of us do these weird setups when we start, photography fresh and new. If you were to have that hot pink wall, it kind of reflect, it would reflect that hot pink color onto her and contaminate the photo. So doing certain things like adding like black fill flags, you have more control. You get the control back in your hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that right now. Specifically with natural light, you would be adding these flags to get more contrast from the sides of the face and just give it a different look. Some people even use flags underneath to get a more defined chin, just because, again, with natural light, you kind of have the light kind of everywhere, so you want to gain that control back. So you can do certain things like moving the light, moving the angle, or adding some flags or reflectors even. So I need the two assistants here, Jasper and, okay, I just need two. Okay, you guys are up. All right. Yeah, it's just basically these two flags right here. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Yeah, just on the sides of the model. Just, yeah, for the people watching at home. Okay, you can actually see from this angle. Okay. So right there, a little bit closer. Right there. Because basically right now the light's kind of going everywhere. So I'm getting that control back by adding these flags here to the sides. Okay. All right. Portrait orientation. Take another shot. And geez. Okay. You know what? I'll take a shot with and then without the flags so you guys can see if there's any difference. Maybe if she had like her hair pulled back, I don't know, maybe behind the ear. Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Because I really want to see like more of her face on the sides here. So I'm going to take another shot like that. Very high fashion kind of pose. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, and then take the flags down. Turn them to the sides a little bit, so just in case they're not doing anything. All right. 1, 2, and you know what? You want to do the same pose, similar? Yeah, perfect. That elbow was down. Yeah, there. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So you might not be as noticeable as I would want it to be, but there is going to be a difference. Is there a way we can put side by side?
Which ones?
These last two.
You just hit command?
Yeah. Okay, command. All right. So it's not as noticeable as I wish it would be, but there is going to be some difference. You are going to get that control back. You know, even the background can probably contaminate the photo by, like maybe, for example, if we had like a black background or some other sort of background, a brick background or something, then the photo wouldn't be as lit. So yeah, so basically, yeah, she got the joke. But yeah, but you can do certain things to get that control back from the natural light that's going to be in the photo or the artificial natural light. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm going to do a similar look right now. But yeah, so I guess you guys you're good. That was good. Thank you. Yeah, the photo's pretty lit up really good right now, so I'm not going to use these reflectors right just this second. Yeah. Okay, but if you guys don't have any of these these specific flags, these are kind of like for like more, yes.
Francisco, can you use grip instead of the flat?
A grip instead of the flat? You can use anything that, you can use a black shirt. You could, if you have somebody who has a black shirt and you don't have a flag and you're like, dang, I want more control, just ask somebody with a black shirt to just do that. So you can get the control no matter what. Just think of anything really as a tool. Yeah.
Use whiteboard and black spray paint.
Yeah, whiteboard with black spray paint. This foam core board right here, if you were to do that, then you can use that as a flag. I was going to say, you guys can also go to something like Home Depot or Lowe's. Hopefully nobody's doing a photo shoot there. I think that's going on right now. There's a couple people doing photo shoots in different locations. But you can get, like if you guys don't have a setup like this, but you do have like a white curtain at home, you can use that white curtain. You can also use like a white bed sheet. But just keep in mind that the thickness is going to play a role as well. So this is kind of very, very thin. So if you had like a thicker like bed sheet, for example, that might be like, it'll cut down the light quite a bit. So keep in mind about that. So in case you have like speed lights or something, then you definitely want to invest in like a strobe or something like the Flashpoint Explorer Pro TTL right there. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask the model to change positions with me. She's still going to be the model. I'm going to be the photographer, but I mean like switch physical positions. So I'm going to ask you to be over here. I'll get the chair over here too. Okay. And just sit there. Yeah, now I'm going to get over here. And you guys are going to see exactly what's going to happen. And then I'll, if anybody can guess what's going to happen? Yeah? Silhouette, yeah. Okay. Got it nailed it right on the first try. So I'm going to take a shot of that. Maybe if you can get just the smallest little bit closer to the, right there. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a shot. Don't want to ruin this paper. Okay. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So this is a very interesting light, but it becomes somewhat of a combination of strobe and an off-camera, a natural light sort of look. I've actually done something very similar to this look with my sister when she was pregnant, because she saw it on Pinterest and she asked me if I could recreate the look. So I just pretty much, at that point, I didn't know Flash so well. So I just told her, okay, get next to this curtain, and yeah, it looks good. Okay, and then I did a lot of Photoshop afterwards. But you definitely want to get the best straight out of camera photo first before you start to do any sort of editing. I learned the opposite. I actually dove into off-camera Flash first before learning natural light. So learn from my mistakes. A lot of videos coming up about my mistakes very soon. So yeah, at this point we're at full power, but I do want to just get a little bit more of a silhouette. So I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get this reflector, this whole setup here, and bring it a little bit closer, because it is going to make the power a little bit more intense because it's closer distance. There's less distance for it to travel. So I'm going to just move this really close, and I'm going to ask you to do the same. And actually get a little bit this way. Yeah, perfect. And I'm going to take another shot, show you guys how this looks like. All right. I have more space to work with. I don't know about you guys, but learning how to shoot in small spaces is something that's a big challenge. It was a big challenge for me in my small little apartment a couple years ago when I lived there. I was shooting with my back against the wall and maybe even outside the door a little bit just so I can get the setup exactly how I wanted it. If you guys are working in small spaces, I'm gonna just assume yes because you guys live in New York and I see that on TV. That's a very small area to work with. I definitely recommend you guys to challenge yourself, to go ahead and not say no, like, okay, you know what, I wanna do this headshot indoors. Go ahead and do it. Some of the photographers I respect a lot, they've done these very crazy scenarios that I thought that was just gonna make me look like a beginner. I was gonna say noob, but a beginner, but they challenged themselves and got these really great results. So if you're working in a small space, I definitely recommend to challenge yourself to do different types of lighting setups in them. And in this setup as well. Might be smaller. I'm not sure exactly how much an apartment in New York is. Okay.
This side's right here.
Yeah, this side? Okay. All right, take one more shot. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So shut up for a second. Yeah, so the light's a little bit more intense. Yeah, you can definitely see that the light's just a little bit more intense. But I wanted this because I'm gonna be closing down the aperture just a little bit so that she becomes more of a silhouette. So actually, you know what? Can you turn your body to this side? Because I don't know, I got this Cleopatra vibe. I don't know, I just want to work with your hair. So it's just show like the edges of it. So like that was perfect. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Actually, you know what? I didn't adjust the aperture just yet because I wanted to show you guys how it looks like first. So this is how the shot looks like right now. But something that you definitely want to take into consideration is your position. Because what I found, especially when I typically shoot on location, is you have to be wary of where the sun position is. So if it's somewhere like in the frame of the shot, like above the model's head, for example, it's going to make your shot a little bit less contrasty. If that's something that you want to aim for, then go ahead and do that. But I typically like to have my contrast. So the light's about like right here. So I could probably lower it. I might do so right now. But I'm going to go ahead and just adjust my angle just a little bit, see how it looks like, and then continue from there. If there's any questions, let me know. So you guys are like tired. I can understand it's late in the day. It's cold too. I was getting a flu on the way over here. Okay.
Take a picture. Take it.
She's professional. She cut it down. All right. Can you look at me for a second? And then look away. All right. 1, 2. Yeah, actually look a little further away. Perfect. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So yeah, I am getting that flare, and I don't necessarily want that. So I'm gonna just adjust the light just a little bit more. But yeah, this whole look is kind of it's one of the easier things to do when you start to shoot with natural light indoors, because it's as simple as getting your model close to the window, model or client, whoever you're working with. So I'm gonna just lower the angle just a little bit. Let's say that it's around, I don't know, 2 o'clock here, 1 o'clock p.m. the position. I live in South Texas, so that's usually pretty high. So let's see. And now I'm going from like 2 o'clock to like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., something like that. Okay. I'm gonna lower it just a little bit more, just because I really don't want the light to be going into the lens and giving me that less contrast that I don't want. So I want more contrast. So I'm gonna go ahead and take another shot. Now the light should be somewhere like around her head. Yeah, so I should be getting less flare. Yeah. Actually, can you turn a little bit to me? Yeah, like that. A little bit, oh, yeah, there, perfect. And then, perfect. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm still getting a little bit of flare, so I'm just getting a little bit closer and change my angle a bit. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is a very moody shot. I'd probably just like increase, like sometimes if you don't get exactly what you're aiming for, you can like maybe lower the levels of the black in Photoshop and get more contrast. Because I do like the shot. I like the flexibility and the amount of the light that's fitting out everywhere. So yeah, if you don't exactly get what you're working for straight out of camera, then there are some things you can do in post to get the results that you're aiming for. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture of, I'm gonna guess it's this as well. This, like maybe if I had a flag to the sides or to the sides of her or to the back of me, I'm really guessing that it's gonna be this right here that's affecting the exposure. So maybe I could just.
You want to twist it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll twist it.
So we're gonna twist it. Let me turn on this laptop. Okay. But I really like the look of the light right now. It's very, I don't know, it has this very CoverGirl or something, Maybelline or something kind of look, very high fashion. So yeah, so now he's gonna go ahead and do that. And if I still don't get that contrast that I want, then I'm gonna go ahead and add some flags either behind me or to the sides of her. All right, perfect. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these 2 flags. If 2 volunteers wanna help me, okay, Jasper. And yeah, he looks like he's like, I'm down to go. All right.
The black one?
Yeah, the black one. Oh, your mics are dragging on.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off by adding these a little bit like here. You guys can get it at this angle. Angle it just a little bit, like 45 degree, I guess. More like here. And you guys can't see it at the moment. Or actually, you can. Okay. Get it a little closer.
Okay.
Right there. Oh, see, she can't. You're gonna see it eventually.
Hey guys.
She's Sydney. I don't know what her Instagram is, but okay. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna angle the light just a little bit. Again, this is like live. Things happen live that you don't necessarily aren't aiming for, but I like to problem solve. So I'm gonna do that for a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you guys one more final look that's gonna be something that a lot of natural light photographers do in studio. So let me just lower the light just a little bit more. Okay. All right. And I'm using the A7R3 with the 85G Master. I did want to point that out because this is kind of a narrow-ish prime. And if you were to use something like a wider angle lens, which is something that you definitely have to gauge for yourself if you're going to be working in like a smaller area, because then you get certain things that you don't want in the frame of the shot, or the light will kind of spill in a little bit when you don't mean it to be, or it'll, yeah, that's the last point. It was the one I wanted to really drive home, that you really want to pay attention to the lens so that you can focus on how the light's going to be affected in the shot. Okay. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it's getting to the point where I really like it right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next thing that I wanted to show you guys, because I did want a little bit more contrast, but I also do like this look right now. So I'm gonna show you guys one more final look, and then we're gonna be pretty good. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and take a seat.
Great.
Well, actually, you know what? The look that you guys can put those down and get the reflectors. I'm going to add some more light into the shot. So basically right now the setup that we have is a window behind her. So if you guys are familiar with the Omega reflector, it's basically a reflector with the hole in the middle that was patented, and it's a really great product. A couple of my friends use it, but something that's really great about the Omega reflector is that you can shoot through it, and it's going to basically bounce the light that you're working with, which is the main light right here is the one that's behind her, and we're gonna use that light as a bit of fill to kind of get more fill, more light on her. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the light, these reflectors really close, like right there, create like a very narrow slot for me to shoot in, right there probably. And then I'm gonna take another shot. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we have more fill on the front of the face compared to that last shot where it was a lot darker. So it's something that you can definitely do to get some of that control that you don't have back into your hands. And when it comes to natural light, typically the light is, it's just spitting everywhere. And it's not bad. Sometimes that's exactly what you want. But the whole thing that I like about off-camera flash is that the control's in your hands. If you want it to be a lot darker, then you can do that. If you want it to be brighter, you can do that. You can change the position of the light, add some color. So I'm not saying that natural light is bad or anything, but I just like the more control that you have with off-camera flash. So, okay, so you guys are good? Yeah, so yeah, that last shot looked really good. Yeah, you got it right there. Okay, so that last shot really good to me. I might take another shot, but aside from that, pretty much done. If you have any questions, let me know. Yes?
Would it be possible to put some color, some gel or something?
Exactly like where? How would you want to do that?
In that light, what would happen if we put some gel on that?
Okay, so he's asking what would happen if we added some gels to this light, the light itself. Well, basically, you would change the color of light. Actually, that's good that you mentioned that because I saw another photographer recently do that. He was trying to recreate the look of like golden hour in the studio or a high fashion sort of look with that. And he did that. He did just that. He added a gel to the light. He took the shot and it looked really, really nicely. The only reason why I didn't want to do that today is just because I wanted to keep it simple in terms of not, because once you start to add gels, then kind of the people that are following you kind of get lost a little bit. But yeah, that would definitely be a possibility. You could also, if you wanted to get really crazy, you could also use like different colored reflectors to like add a little bit of like, I haven't seen this done before. Maybe I'll do that in a YouTube video or something. But I'll add like orange on here to create like something here. Just get real crazy with it. The whole thing with photography is just creativity. I love photography for that reason. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, then let me know. But aside from that, it's pretty much it. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Francisco Hernandez, portrait photographer. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, pretty much everywhere at FJH Photo. All right, thank you guys.